I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
I'm one of them guys.
Hey, I don't care either. Because I'm going to speak the truth regardless. But they say all black people like chicken and watermelon. And they make fun of it. Like, we've seen skits and stuff like that to where they make fun of people that eat that. And they relate it back to us. And we're reading this out of the Bible. This happened to the Israelites or the Jews, that they would be scattered amongst all nations of people. Now, when in history did that happen to so-called Jewish people?
It happened like 7, 8, 9 times. 7, 8, 9 times. 7, 8, 9 times.
C-A-P. Cap. Even when I turn into an eye, you run your mouth, run your mouth, run your mouth, run your mouth.
So the organization that we're with is called Israel United in Christ.
Okay.
It was started by our Bishop Nathaniel in 2003, right? So what we teach is the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and the Native Americans are the Israelites according to the Bible. According to the Bible, right? So in the Bible, the Israelites are God's chosen people. Everybody's not God's chosen people. Even though he created everybody, he had one specific people that he was dealing with all throughout the Bible. Now, let me ask you a question. What goes on in our communities that kind of bring us at a lower state? Yeah, anybody? Huh? Authority? Like, okay, so are you saying that the police, they do wrong in our neighborhoods?
So our lower state, I would say education, resources.
Okay, education, resources. Okay. Okay, what about crime? Yeah, what happened to, it was 3 rappers. Yeah, what happened to them brothers?
They got killed.
Right, they got killed and their bodies got stabbed. Yeah. But even when you go on the news, it seems like every day it's always something to where our people are being killed or they robbing, stealing or something, right?
Right.
So why do we go through the things that we go through? Have we ever asked ourselves, like, how come there's no such thing as Chinese on Chinese crime? How come there's no such thing as white on white crime?
It is.
There is, but is it publicized?
No.
No, it's not. But ours is, right?
Right.
So those are questions where I would have to ask, like, okay, so why are these things happening to us? So I'm gonna show y'all something. I want you to put up this sign right here. So this sign right here. If you can identify or relate to the sign, so on the right, this is what we were colonized, or the names that were given to us in colonization. On the left is what God called us. These are tribes. So there's 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. So so-called blacks or the American blacks, we would be from the tribe of Judah. And then you have the West Indian blacks would be from the tribe of Benjamin, and the Haitians would be from the tribe of Levi, so on and so forth. And as you can see, you have Hispanics or so-called Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, right? So we understand that they were also colonized, right? Because at some point in time, they weren't here speaking Spanish. They got conquered by the Spanish, and now they speak Spanish, right? Same with us. We had a different language before the English came and conquered us, right? So we understand that these people on the sign are all related, and they actually come from one man. His name was Jacob, which name was changed to Israel, and he had 12 sons, and we are the descendants of those 12 sons. Now, you may ask, okay, so how do we know that? Give me the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1. So the book of Deuteronomy, are y'all familiar with when Moses led the children of Israel out of Egypt.
Right.
Right, so he did what to the Red Sea?
The parted it.
Right, he parted the Red Sea, right?
Right.
And he led his people out, right?
Right.
So the book of Deuteronomy, it was only written to the children of Israel. Read what you got.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And it shall come to pass.
No, I want one and one first. So the book of Deuteronomy, it was written to the Israelites, and we're going to prove that. Read what you got.
Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So Moses was only speaking to the Israelites in this book of Deuteronomy. Now we're going to see what Moses actually said to them. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28, read verse 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15.
Uh-huh.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So Moses told these people that's on the sign, he said, if you do not hearken me, listen, and if you don't do what I tell you to do, which are the law, statutes, and commandments, that curses will come upon you. Right? Now, is a curse a good or a bad thing?
Bad.
Bad thing, right? So we're going to read some of these bad things that are actually happening, not just back then, but also to this day. Continue to read on.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
So it says that we would be cursed in the city as a people, and we would be cursed in the field. So cursed in the city. What people are cursed in the city? Is it everybody? Or when you look at it as a whole, who's mainly cursed in the city?
You mean us? Are you trying to insinuate us? Or
No, I mean,
I don't know what you're trying to get at.
no, I want you to tell, like, for example, in any state that you go in, or any city,
Right.
there's a hood, right? There's a ghetto, right?
Yeah.
Who mainly makes up those areas?
Jewish people.
Huh?
Jewish people.
Jewish people poor?
Jewish people, the name ghetto comes from, it's a German name that was given to Jews in their neighborhoods.
Right. Hey, you got the Zondervan. Right, I'm glad you said that. Right, because ghetto it was a term that Germans used to say that, or they put the Jewish people in those concentration camps and they called them ghettos, right? So I'm going to show you this book right here. It's called the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. And the word ghetto is actually in here. And I'm going to have him read what it says. Okay. So when you say Jewish, right? So when you put ish on the end of anything, what is it saying? Like if I said that the sky is blue-ish, you're saying that it's sort of blue, but it could be something else, right? Blue-ish,
Right. Yeah.
similar to. So when you say Jewish, what are you saying?
I'm going basically on the root of the word. The root of the word tells you.
Well, what's the root of the word Jew? Jewish.
When I say Jewish, that was actually for the Jewish communities. That wasn't. It wasn't a thing where they just brought it to a sense, brought it out as a happenstance. That was a very planned thing.
Oh, are you referring to the Holocaust?
Oh no, I was referring to 50, 60 years before the Holocaust.
Okay, be a little bit more specific. Yeah, because you said it was something that was planned.
It was planned. It was a German planned thing.
Are you talking about the ghettos? The ghettos was
Ghettos.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Y'all have time? Okay, so when you say Jewish, ish means something like sort of but it doesn't mean that it's the real thing. So what they're telling you is they're not the real Jews. They're sort of like it. Why? Because they follow a lot of the customs of the Jews, and they're living in the land. But before they was in the land, where were they at? They were in Germany, Poland, right? Because
yeah, that's after they fled Egypt. The whole Arab community did not appreciate that. Yeah.
right. So, but after they actually fled Egypt, they actually went into the land of Canaan, which is part of Israel, right? But at some point in time, they were kicked out. They actually went into a series of captivities under the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Persian and Medes, the Greeks, and the Romans.
I don't disagree with you.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you. Did you ever find it? Okay, read the definition.
The Jewish dictionary. The area of the city.
No, I want you to read Jewish ghettos.
Jewish ghetto.
Uh-huh.
The term was used for an area in Jewish quarters, which meant the area of a city traditionally inhabited by Jews in the diaspora.
So it says an area of the city that was inhabited by Jews of the diaspora. Now,
What's the diaspora?
the diaspora, right? So the diaspora is being dispersed all throughout the four corners of the earth. It was, yeah, actually, I want you to get me, you got Deuteronomy? Yeah, you give me 4:27. So, a diaspora was actually written about in the Bible. Yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 27. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in numbers among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you.
Right, so this happened to the Israelites, or the Jews, that they would be scattered amongst all nations of people. Now, when in history did that happen to so-called Jewish people?
It happened like 7, 8, 9 times. 7, 8, 9 times. 7, 8, 9 times.
C-A-P. Cap.
Throughout the entire world?
Throughout the entire. Well, understanding that when you talk about Deuteronomy and you're talking about Exodus, you're talking about just one specific region of the world. The rest of the world hadn't been discovered yet.
Okay, right. But it still said that we would be scattered throughout all the nations, meaning back then, so this was something that was going to happen in the future. Because remember, we read that it shall come to pass, meaning in the future, it would happen. So in the future, past this point, when did the so-called Jewish people, when did they get scattered and are still in these places that they were scattered in?
And
Yeah.
they've been scattered for over 300, 400 years.
In all nations?
In all nations.
Really? Okay. So I want you to, okay, give me Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 2.
Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground.
So it says that Judah mourned. So Jew is short for Judah. So Judah was one of the sons of Israel. So it says that the Jews are in mourning. It says in the gates is referring to the leaders. It says that they are black. So if the Jews are black,
Yeah, okay.
how did they become white? The Bible says that the Jews are black.
Okay, so now we're gonna dive into something. Because you understand that the Egyptians, the reason why the whole hatred they had for the Jews didn't make any sense beyond prophecy
Mm-hmm.
is because Egyptians and Jews look very similar.
I'm glad you said that. So wait a minute.
But that's the whole region. The whole region looks the same.
Okay, so how did the Israelites being held captive in Egypt go in there black like the Egyptians? Because remember, Joseph, he was an Israelite, but he was considered he was second in command next to Pharaoh, which was an Egyptian, and Moses was considered Pharaoh's grandson. So if the Egyptians and the Israelites look alike, we understand that the Egyptians are people of color, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the ones that calling themselves Jewish, are they people of color?
Are all of them people of color?
I'm talking about the ones that specifically say that they are Jewish.
All I can do is tell you. All I can tell you is that when you look at this and you telling me about, we talking about colors of a nation, there is no other group of people or melanin that takes over anything else more like a black person does.
Okay.
Because as far as phenotypes and genotypes, we dominate.
Okay.
Our genes dominate. That was God's gift to us.
Right. So my question is still the same. If you got people that's calling themselves Jewish, they're not calling themselves the Jews. They're calling themselves Jewish. And we read that the Jews were black people, people of color. You even agreed and said that the Egyptians and the Jews, they looked alike. And we understand that the real Egyptians, not the ones that's over there now, because those aren't the real Egyptians. So if they're black, who are the ones that's calling themselves Jewish?
White people.
White people. He didn't want to say it. I don't know why he didn't want to say it.
Because I'm not going to tell you about what you believe.
It's not what I believe. It's facts.
It's fact, but that's like if you have a beautiful dark-skinned daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and she pollinates with a strictly white person from Europe, pure and simple.
Yeah.
That child no longer looks. That child will have features of us and have some melanin like us.
Okay.
But they will not be us.
I agree.
But that still don't make that not your child.
I agree, but there's a bloodline and there's a heritage, and it's not determined by both people. For example, people would say that child would be called what? Mixed, right?
No, not in America, but go ahead.
Well, yeah, here in America, that's what people call it. Yeah, can anybody agree with me that here in America, if a white man has a child with a black woman, that child would be called mixed or biracial?
Right.
Here in America.
That is the nice way that they deem it. Legally, they're not mixed.
I agree with you. I'm saying here. I'm saying here. I'm saying here, right? So I'm going to show y'all what the Bible says about that. Yeah, give me numbers.
Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers.
So what's a pedigree?
Bloodline.
Bloodline, right? Mm-hmm. It says that us, the Israelites, we declared our bloodline by the house of our fathers, meaning you are what your father is. So just because a white man has a kid with a black woman, that child, even though it may come out a different color, that child is still a so-called white person. Even though our genes, we have the dominant gene, but that child actually belongs to that bloodline of that so-called white man. So that's what we're saying. So what we have been taught here in America has been wrong. Why? Because America teaches all inclusive. Everybody love each other, and be together. But they teach that, but then they show us something else, right? They want to separate us. For example, how many people are familiar with redlining?
What's the red line?
Redlining is when you section off certain parts of the city, and they tell black people that they can't live in certain areas.
I get it.
So, and that's actually something that still goes on till this day.
Yeah.
Now, they don't do that with everybody, but they do that with us. But if we're all equal, how come things like that are still happening? How come, for example, in Flint, what happened in Flint about 5 or 7 years ago? Yeah, what happened to the water? It got poisoned. What people did that majority affect? Black people. And did they fix it? No, it's still messed up. So, let me ask this question. If that was to happen in West Bloomfield, do you think people would have went to jail? Do you think that it would be fixed? So wait a minute. America preaches equality, but they don't show equality. And there's a reason for it. Now, I want you to go back to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15, because we read that curses would happen to our people if they did what? If they broke the commandments. So one of the curses was curse in the city. So some curses in the city would be what? And all you have to do is look at our community and see what plagues our community. The same things that plague our community don't plague communities in Livonia, West Bloomfield, Farmington Hills. It only pertains to us, right? So name some things that plague our communities.
Police brutality.
Okay, yeah, police brutality. Yeah, that's one. Yeah, what else? I know you can name some. Yeah, Anthony?
Yeah.
Okay, Anthony. Yeah, my name homicide. All right, so what are some things that plague our community?
Law.
Huh?
Drugs.
Drugs. Okay. Yeah, what else?
Law. What else?
Racism.
Racism.
Nope.
Right? Okay, what about we get the worst education? Yeah, what about the worst healthcare? Okay, what about last hire, first fire? How come he mentioned racism? People get a job and they can be fired for, we didn't feel safe because of you have dreads in your hair. Or you have a beard on your face and you look, if you look intimidating. That don't affect everybody. But I bet you, not just here in Detroit, Michigan, but Chicago, all over the world, racism affects us as a people. Anywhere you go. If you were to go over to Germany, I bet you they have a derogatory name for you over there. If you were to go over in Saudi Arabia, I believe it's called Abdi. It means slave. There's a derogatory term for you everywhere you go. Does that plague everybody? Or does that plague us? Us. So what we're showing you is that in the book of Deuteronomy, it's written to us and it's telling us if we break God's commandments that these curses would happen to us. I want you to read verse 16 again.
Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
It says that we will be cursed in the field. What time were we cursed in the field? Picking cotton, right? So when we look at this sign here, let me see this real quick. So when we look at this sign here, all of the names that are on here, all of these people actually went through the same thing, and they're going through this stuff till today, right? Because, for example, in Haiti, I think Haiti was known for sugar cane. there was sugar cane plantations everywhere, right? And who was actually cutting down the sugar cane and processing it? It was us. And remember, well, I'll ask this question. What was the mode of transportation that we took to get over here? Or that we were forced? Ships, right? Yeah, can we all agree that we got over here on ships, on cargo slave ships? That's history, right? That's our history. Is that recorded in the Bible?
Yes. Deuteronomy, right?
Yeah. Right.
What up, man?
Long time no
And
see.
we're about to read it.
Excuse.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So it says the Lord shall bring us into Egypt again. So we understand that Egypt is actually synonymous with slavery. And we're going to read that. Yeah, give me that.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2.
Right, so this is what God calls Egypt. Read it.
I am the Lord thy God, which I brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
So Egypt means house of bondage. Another word for bondage is slavery or captivity. Yep. Let's go back to where you at.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Or slavery again, or a second time, because how did we get into Egypt the first time? Yeah, y'all remember? Yeah, we walked in. Y'all remember we walked in when there was a famine. Joseph called his brothers, and they walked into Egypt. And before the Pharaoh at that time died, they were just living there. And then a new Pharaoh rose up and he put them in slavery, right? So we walked in the first time and then we walked out. So this is saying that we would go into Egypt again, meaning slavery a second time, but this time, we're going to go by what?
With ships.
With ships. So we can all agree that us as so-called black people, we went into slavery and we got scattered throughout the four corners of the earth by way of cargo slave ships. And here is a picture of it. Yeah, we were stacked on top of each other. These ships were altered from carrying cargo like to humans, us.
I know
Judah.
Judah was taken over here through cargo slave ship, but what about the other nationalities too?
That happened to the so-called Hispanics. So remember, Christopher Columbus, he landed in Espanol, and he actually took them back to Spain.
Okay.
So some of them got taken to Spain, and then parts of Africa, which were like different tribes. They went from the coast of South Africa to Brazil, South America, all over. And then there's also this thing called the sub-Saharan slave trade, where we were traded to the Arabs during that time. Ishmael. Yeah. Ishmael. Yeah, let me ask y'all this. Yeah, are y'all familiar with what's going on over there in like Libya and places like that? As far as human slaves, like the slave trade is actually still happening. People are still being bought and sold over there till this day.
So I know where not to go.
Oh yeah. Well, also fast forwarded till today, it's something called sex trafficking. Who is that mainly affected? Right, so-called black people. It's our children mainly that's coming up missing. But they try to downplay it. You really don't hear a lot about our children going missing like that. But it happens to our children more than anything. And a lot of times, I don't know if y'all are familiar with, they say that our genes, our organs are more valuable. So a lot of times, our people come up missing and they're found with missing organs, kidneys, and stuff like that. Why? Because our genes are better. And they use our genes as transplants. Yeah, so that's something that happens to this day. Remember what you got? Everyone to finish that. Action start from the top.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Right, so after we got off those slave ships, who are we sold to?
All right, for sure.
Europeans, right? Yeah, we actually, I'll ask this question. Who financed the slave ships? Yeah, but there was also, right, so she had help. And with the apple. Right, and the people that actually helped her. Right. You can't do that. Right. So Amalek, or I'm sorry, so-called Jewish people, they actually insured those slave ships. Yeah, the ones that's calling themselves Jewish insured the slave ships. What's your question?
I know that they stole the identity of Israel,
Right.
the Europeans, and they called themselves Jewish, fakish, not a real
Right.
Jew. Why did they do that?
Why?
Yeah, why did they steal the identity? I know it might have been a part of the curse in Deuteronomy.
Yeah.
I'm kind of familiar with that, but what's the reason why? Is that the reason why?
Well, if we go back to what we said, as far as the curses, why are the curses upon us?
Because we broke the commandments.
Right. So I'm going to get Jeremiah 17, verse 4. So this is part of the curse that will happen to us.
Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave you.
So this part of the curse, it says that we would discontinue from our heritage. So when I ask you what your nationality is, you would say, well, I don't know. Or you'll say African American or Negro, but that's not a nationality. A nationality is, can you trace your roots back to a nation, to a man?
Yeah.
Right. Real Africans would be Ham, but like we were talking about earlier, the Egyptians, they would be considered Hamitic. Actually, give me the Jonathan Compact Bible Dictionary. I didn't So this is what it says about Ham.
Ham, the youngest son of Noah.
So it says Ham was the youngest son of Noah. So back during the time of the flood, you had Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and Noah, and their wives, right?
Yeah, no, I said, okay, I'll check.
Probably about 96 years before the flood. And one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races.
So it says Ham became the progenitor of the dark races, or the forefather of the dark races. Read.
Not the Negroes.
It says not the Negroes. Who's called Negro today? Us. Us. So Ham is not the forefather of us, but he is the who?
No, not what I was reading.
But the Egyptians.
So the Egyptians, they're considered to be Hamitic. Read.
Ethiopians.
The Ethiopians are considered to be Hamitic. Read.
Libyans.
The Libyans are Hamitic. Read.
And Canaanites.
And the Canaanites are considered to be Hamitic people. So you didn't hear anything about us because, right, we would be considered Shemitic. So when people say anti-Semitic, they change the definition because Shemitic and Semitic is the same. But they changed it because they don't want us to identify with where we actually come from.
Right.
So when you say that you're anti-Semitic, you're saying that you're against the bloodline of Shem. But if we're Semitic, then we can't be anti-us.
So the Jewish people would say they're Semitic.
They would
call
say-
themselves Jewish people.
Right, and they would say that they're the only ones that's Semitic.
Okay.
But remember, Shem had sons, right? And one of his sons was Abraham. Abraham had Isaac and Ishmael.
Right.
So if that's the case, Ishmael or the Arab, they would be considered what?
Semitic.
Shemitic.
Right.
And then on top of that, Isaac had Jacob and Esau. Esau is the forefather of the so-called white man, right? Right. So he would be considered what? Right. And we would be considered Semitic. So all of this talk about, for example, with Kyrie Irving. Are y'all familiar with that?
Yeah.
So they got on him for posting that link.
But then the thing is,
Right. Yeah. And they try to call him anti-Semitic. And he says, I can't be anti-Semitic because I know where I come from. So he was saying that he knows who he comes from. He knows that he is Semitic. Now, he couldn't come out and say it because then they would have tried to get him on something else. But yeah, what we're showing you is that so-called black people are the ones that are on this sign. We would be considered Semitic.
What would they have tried to get him on?
Well, you know what they call it? Identity extremists. That's like a new term that they're using. Identity extremists. That's what they would try to get him on.
They would have tried.
Yeah, but you saying why?
No, man. You know, it's like they try to go so in depth on a lot of stuff where it really ain't all that.
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
Because I say I'm mixed. Am I harming you?
No, but remember, they're trying to pass laws, or they have already passed laws where you can't speak against them, even if it's the truth. Yeah. 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 If you say anything against them, they have made it a law to where you can be fined or put in jail for speaking against them.
I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
I'm one of them guys.
hey, I don't care either because I'm gonna speak the truth
I'm gonna
regardless.
speak the truth.
Yeah, I'm gonna speak the truth. For example, Kevin Hart. He was about to go over to Egypt and do a show, and he said that the real Egyptians were black people, and they shut him down for that. But it's like, wait a minute, it's the truth. So nowadays it is becoming I don't want to say a crime to speak the truth, but at the same time, you're going to be criticized for speaking the truth. Right, like Kanye West. He said the same thing. You had, what's his name, Deshaun Jackson. You had Ice Cube. All of them. What's that? Right, so all of them spoke the truth. And what happened to them? Right, they got shut down. They got threatened. How much money did Kanye West lose?
Yeah.
He lost. At one point in time, he was a billionaire.
Yeah, he was a billionaire, right?
He was a billionaire.
He was the richest black man,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Right. And he said that we were the Jews. He said that he came from, you know what he's saying, the nation of Judah?
I'm not understanding. You texted me that. What's the problem?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's how you know it's true.
Yeah, that's how you know it's true. And they don't want this information like to actually get out. Why? Because it proves that the people that are in the land right now calling themselves Jewish are not the real people.
Right.
And they're shutting down everybody that is trying to say otherwise.
That's some of the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life.
Right. Yes, I'm gonna watch. Yeah, so I'm gonna read this, and y'all tell me what this is talking about. Give me that
Dumbest
revelation.
shit I ever heard in my life.
Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich.
So this is John, he's speaking, or Christ is speaking to John on the island of Patmos. And he's talking about us. He says, I know thy works and thy tribulation, but thou art rich. Now, so when we look at so-called Jewish people, are they rich monetarily? Yes. Yes. They own the diamond district, the fashion, like they own everything mainly. And it was Kanye West that had got criticized for saying that they own the media. But when you pull it up, they own 98% of the media.
So why are they so scared to let this truth out?
Yeah, because it would actually prove that everything that they have been teaching us or telling us has been a lie.
And then overall, the guy that just started
Like I said, this is some of the dumbest shit I've heard.
It gets dumber. Right. Read on.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews.
So he says that I know the blasphemy or the lies of the people that's calling themselves Jews, right?
And are not.
But Christ said that they're not the Jews. Yeah, we're about to read it.
But are the synagogue of Satan.
He says that the people that's calling themselves the Jews or Jewish, it says that they are the synagogue of Satan, meaning the chief house of Satan. So that's why. Now, so when you look at the things that we're taught, you know, here in America, for example, shrimp. Shrimp is a delicacy, right? Crab, lobster, yeah, all that stuff is considered delicacy. But according to the Bible, should we eat that stuff? No, we shouldn't, right? Because we went into slavery for breaking God's commandments, and one of His commandments was to don't eat shrimp, crab, lobster, pork, catfish. But wait a minute, don't they give that stuff to us? Right, and they make it so cheap, right? They make it cheap. So that's one of the things. Huh?
I have the shrimp at Red Lobster.
Yeah. 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 So. Okay. Yeah. Read that. Read the law. 7.
Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 7.
So, how many of y'all eat pork here? Huh?
I do.
You beautiful with it? And what about you, bro? Okay. Yeah, let's see what the Bible says about it.
Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 7. And the swine, though he divided the hood, and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you.
So he says that the swine or the pork or the pig, he says that he is unclean to us. So it goes into he cheweth not the cud. Meaning, for example, there's a difference between how a cow eats its food and how it's digested and it cleanses, because a cow has 4 different chambers, right? So it eats it, it regurgitates grass, and it eats it again, and that is what cleanses the cow. So eating beef, that's a lawful food. But the pig, so what happens when a pig eats something? Right, a pig will eat anything, and everything stays within itself, like it stays within its body.
They don't have no sweat glands.
Exactly. There's no way for a pig to be cleansed because a pig doesn't sweat. So a lot of times when we eat those things, it makes us sick over time. For example, high blood pressure run amongst so-called African Americans, right? High blood pressure, gout, heart disease, cancer. Huh?
Receding hairline.
It's a receding hairline. Right, I mean, but
You're trying to be funny.
So all of these things affect our people mainly. But that's why God said, don't eat it. He said that it's unclean to us. Now give me the other one.
Verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the water, whatsoever has fins and scales in the water.
So in the water, if it has fins and scales, then we can eat it. But what have they pushed to us? So we started eating pork because it was given to us during slavery. Yeah, we were given the scraps, right? And then we kind of turned it into our own thing, soul food and stuff, right? You know, the chitlins, the hog maws and stuff like that, right? But we're not supposed to be eating that stuff. But it says out of the seas or the oceans that have fins and scales, those are the things that we can eat. For example, perch, you have tilapia, even though I probably wouldn't eat that. I don't know if y'all saw it. Yeah, well, but it still has fins and scales though. They've changed, because I don't think that it was originally a natural fish. Right. So, but, right, so what they did was they created it, and then it eats what's on the bottom of the actual ocean. Right. So,
you learn how to feed.
Right. Whiting, red snapper, like all of these things are clean fish or clean things that we can actually eat.
Come on, boy.
So, as far as the shrimp and lobster and stuff like that, those are the things to where we're not supposed to eat. Why? Because it eats, for example, nobody in here would say that they would eat a roach.
Just say take, don't say nothing.
But when you look at shrimp, they are similar to roaches, and they're roaches of the sea. But here in America, we've been given that as a delicacy, you know, and people love eating shrimp and crab legs. But those are the things that actually make us sick.
Tearing that roast up, huh?
Tearing it up. Having a little cocktail sauce on there, the butter and the garlic.
Hey, Doc.
So,
Doc.
at one point in time, we all used to eat that stuff.
Joe, you ain't on me, you must try to get here.
I'm just trying to get here to it.
Oh, okay.
But once we found out, you know what I mean, like who we are and what we got to do, then we change. So I want you to go back to Deuteronomy chapter 28. So it said that because we broke the commandments, that curses would come upon us. So we read that we would be cursed in the city, we would be cursed in the field. I want you to jump down to verse 30.
So you just want to cut right here, man.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
So it says that we would be promised to a woman, and during this time, another man would sleep with us. Yeah, so when did that happen to us? Yeah, read it again.
Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
So there would come a time to where we would be promised to a woman, but another man would have access to your woman.
I said, what?
Huh?
What? Not my woman.
No, this happening.
Right, George?
Another coach. Look,
She ain't my woman.
She was taken before you got.
Yeah, true, but
But she ain't my woman.
so, for example, during slavery, didn't so-called white man, didn't he have access to our women anytime he wanted them? Right, so we're reading, why? Because this didn't happen to every other nation of people. This only happened to the Israelites. So it says that, now read it again.
Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein.
It says that we will build houses that we wouldn't dwell in. So who built those big plantation houses down there, down south? Who built the White House? We did. And did we enjoy the benefits of living in them and prosper? No. So that's another curse because we broke God's commandments. Come down to verse 30.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given into another people.
Wait a minute. It says our sons and daughters will be given into another people or another race of people. Read.
And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
So when did that happen?
All right, my brother.
All right, but take it easy.
I don't know.
Are you familiar with Roots? Yeah, we saw the movie Roots. Long.
Yeah.
Oh, so
They use back there?
yeah. You have the daughter. She got sold to another plantation.
I thought it was on my loop, but it ain't.
Didn't that happen to us during slavery?
Nope.
Many.
Yeah. So, but did that happen to any other
Don't
people?
mind,
Did that happen to any other people?
Well, it
Did it
was
happen to
just, they had
Chinese?
more slaves than just blacks. It was more, but
Right.
it was more dominant by our people. But it was, you had you had a lot of races that had slaves.
Okay, so as far as being sold and being discontinued from our heritage, did any other nation of people discontinue from their heritage, like who they are?
I get it. No.
They
No,
can't have a coach.
it didn't.
Can't have a kid.
It only happened to us.
Right.
So read verse 37.
Verse 30, verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword.
So another curse would be that we will become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword. A proverb is a wise saying. If you want to hide anything from a nigga, where you put it. So how come you know that? It's because we have become that proverb. Where they say all black people like chicken and watermelon. And they make fun of it. Like we've seen skits and stuff like that to where they make fun of people that eat that. And they relate it back to us. That we're reading this out of the Bible. You can't attest this to any other nation of people. It says that we will become a proverb and a byword. A byword is anything outside of what God calls you. By means two, right? By means two. African American. He said that we would become, or we would be called outside of what he called us. African American, that's a byword.
Out of town because they're fucking me up.
Who?
Out of town.
But this one, I don't relate to that because how can we be called African and American?
I agree.
Ain't that two different countries?
Two different countries, and
Continents, countries.
right, and it was founded by two different
I
men.
should have let it grow.
Because America,
America.
right, African was named after Leo Scipio's Africanus, which was a white man. And then America was named after Amerigo Vespucci, which is another white man. So you mean to tell me we come from two white men?
I should have let it grow.
No.
But this little hoe wanted to
Actually, African American, it was coined by Jesse Jackson around 1987. So, what were we before that? Yeah, what did they call us before they called us African American? Negroes, colored, Afro Americans. So, how come they try to change our nationality every few years? They're even making up stuff. Like, have y'all heard of if a black person get with Asian, they're called Blasians? Have y'all heard that?
No, I never heard of that.
Yeah. Right. Tiger Woods, for example. So they're always trying to change who we are. Why? Because they don't want us to come back to our true nationality of who we are. The first case of identity theft was the Jewish people saying that they are the people of God. That was the first case of identity theft. So now that we come and we're teaching on the streets, and we're letting our people know, like, who they are, it has become a problem. And you can tell that it's spreading because you have these entertainers, they're starting to say certain things, and they're trying to set them up from actually getting the full message out. That's why nobody don't even want to say anything, because they know that this man has the power to stop their money. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. And a lot of these entertainers, they have handlers. They have people making sure that they don't say the wrong thing.
But see, that's one thing that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
They scared for people to stop their money. That doesn't define you. You know what I mean? I'm not defined by this.
You may not be.
Right, I know, I get
But
it. I get it, I know.
You have $1 million, you would be.
Yeah.
No, that won't even stop me. That won't even let you know that that's who I am. Because guess what? I make who I am. If I say I'm this. If you want to be defined as that, you can be defined as that. But I don't define myself as that.
Right. I mean, but a lot of people, for example, a lot of times when they make it, they say I have to feed, like, I got a lot of people that I have to take care of. A lot of people are dependent on me. So they look at it as, okay, if this money stops, then I can't take care of, you know, my family, my cousins, my aunties, and stuff like that. And then it's a lifestyle change too.
So they taking the self-sacrificial or something?
Huh?
So they self-sacrificial. Like they sacrificing themselves to keep doing this, so they basically getting silenced or something. So they being silent and sacrificing themselves to continue getting the money and this and that because they so-called have this many people dependent on them.
Right, yeah.
Or they could have been poor. They could have been from the hood and they get
I mean, most of them, like most rappers and ball players came up poor.
But it's always a backstory. That's the backstory.
Yeah.
So that's why I see why they have handlers. So they have people speaking for them.
Right.
So they don't have to say the wrong thing or something.
Exactly.
Things of that nature.
Exactly. And that's the thing, to where when you do speak out against it, you get shunned by the media, killed. Yeah. So it's real. So I can understand. For example, you have mentioned Kendrick Lamar, right? Now he made that album, I Ain't Black No More, I'm an Israelite, right? Now, since he did that, he caught a lot of slack from that. And he hasn't mentioned anything else about it. Why? Now, I can't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure that he was threatened. You don't have control over what you say. And a prime example is this music that they push.
Yeah, fucking you.
This music, and I don't know if y'all agree with, like, the music is very destructive. And it breaks up, it influences people to do drugs. Now, I remember back in the day, for example, like, I know you can probably attest to this. When Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre came out with gin and juice, what did people run out and do?
Buy a bunch of it.
Buy a bunch of gin and juice, Tanqueray, and a bunch of weed.
Mm-hmm.
So they understand that what they push, they can get us to do.
Across the earth, the prophets move. From city streets to distant lands, the message is the same. Israel must rise. Through every quest, every journey, the truth spreads. No border can contain it. No distance can silence it. Our nation lives in every moment. In joy, we celebrate marriages. In sorrow, we honor our dead. On the Sabbath, we gather as one. Families rejoicing together, bound by the commandments of God. Yet are we tried. From the stones in Kenya to the hatred in Montana, we endure as a soldier of the Lord. And still, the mission expands. On the airwaves, on the screens, in every nation under heaven, Israel's voice is heard. We build our communities. We raise our children in royalty. We restore what was broken. We clean what was defiled. We show the world who we are. This is Israel united in Christ. Nation in motion. Nation endures.